All right, let's jump into it here with Jason Gregor from OilersNation.com and TSN 1260. Jason, let's start with the Oilers side of this matchup. And this is a team, they entered the play-in against Chicago and also last year against Winnipeg in the first round as favorites in those series, and they didn't find a way to find any sort of success. Is this year's Oilers team better built for playoff success than the teams in years past?
Yeah, I really don't think it's close, to be honest, guys. Just look at their left wing. Evander Kane, Zach Hyman, Warren Foegele. Those are the top three left wingers. None of them were here last year. Then you throw in Ceci, Kulak, and Keith on the back end. You know, there's 6 key players that are new to the team. And I do think the heartache of the Oilers, and it's funny they're taking on the Kings. And if you go back to 1982, the Edmonton Oilers had 48 more points than the Kings that year, and they lost to the Kings. And then the next year they went to the Cup final. Then, of course, then they started winning cups. And that team talked about you need some pain, right? The Tampa Bay Lightning 2019 got swept by Columbus. It happens. I think the Edmonton Oilers are a much they've got a little bit of scar tissue now built up. So I think that they're going to be mentally tougher after last year's disappointment to Winnipeg.
Jason, talk to us about Mike Smith and the season that he's had. It sort of mirrors in a lot of ways the Oilers. You know, Smith couldn't get healthy for a while and was a big reason why their play dropped off a bit after December 1st. But he's really found his game in the last number of weeks. What's your confidence level in Smith? And he's been a proven playoff performer in the past, but where's his game at right now?
Well, you know what's interesting, Frank? Mike Smith, the last 2 seasons, there's 39 goalies who've started at least 50 games. Mike Smith has the 6th best save percentage. He's been really good, except for a 5-game stretch when, as you said, he had come off an injury, and then he re-aggravated an injury. He had 5 games between December 29th and February 9th, which is like 6 weeks, and he only played 5 times. He wasn't very good. Other than that, he's been excellent. The way he's played here the last 5 weeks is arguably been the best hockey he's played maybe in his career. Right, like in the month of April, the Oilers were the 2nd best team at goals against per game in the NHL, and Mike Smith has been leading that. He had won 11 in a row at one point, 10 in a row at one point for him. He's been outstanding, and he gives them a lot of confidence with his puck handling ability. He really helps what I think still is maybe the weakness of the Oilers is their defense core. I don't think they're big enough for a long playoff run. Maybe I'm wrong. But Mike Smith will help them not have to take a lot of contact because he's so good at playing the puck. But Mike Smith he's been excellent really for the Oilers ever since he came back. To me, the concern isn't if Mike Smith plays well. The only small concern is, does he get injured? Because when he's played, he's actually played quite well, excluding 5 games.
Jason, I want to get your take on this matchup from the LA Kings perspective. If they're going to find a way to come out on top of this series, I guess my question is, what is the LA Kings' path to victory here? How can they beat the Edmonton Oilers?
Oh, I think it starts with Phil Deneau. Phil Deneau is going to have to find a way to do what he did to Austin Matthews last season. Remember, Austin Matthews had 1 goal in that series against Montreal. Deneau was outstanding, shutting him down. And now the difference was John Tavares got hurt, and then they didn't really have another center, right? You go to Alex Kerfoot. If you can contain McDavid a bit, they still have Draisaitl. So it's a little bit different, but I think really the key for the Kings' success is going to come with Phil Deneau and can he contain McDavid? I think it's a monumental task, but that's really the only way I see the Kings being successful.
All right, Jason, give us your pick. Who wins and how many games?
I see the Oilers winning this one, guys. I don't think it's going to be overly close when it comes to games played. I think you'll look at shots and the scores. Maybe LA can play a good defensive game, but I say Edmonton wins in 5.